It's the podcast. Welcome. Hello, it's me, AJ. I'm of Redirect, doing directly to you. I'm with Parker, also of Redirect. He's also doing directly to you. Hi, we do the show. And you can support us in the show by going to youtube.com/watchredirect or twitch.tv/watchredirect or patreon.com/watchredirect and giving $4.99 or more for Patreon specifically. And if you're on Twitch specifically, you don't even got to give us your money. You can take it from Jeff Bezos. Isn't that great? That's always fun. In exchange for the money, however you give it, however much you give, you get different stuff. For YouTube and Twitch specifically, you get loyalty emotes. You get loyalty badges, emotes. I combine those two things. You get access to the Supporters Only Discord. This is everybody. Everybody gets access to the Supporters Only Discord. Free Switch keys from time to time, so on and so forth. And I think it's the $4 level, I think, for the access to us recording the show right now as we're doing it currently. Nice. Freaking, if you're watching this on YouTube, you should check it out on podcast services and rate it. If you're listening to this on podcast services and you haven't rated it, you should rate it. And if you're not watching on YouTube or haven't watched on YouTube, you should subscribe on YouTube and then click on the video and then click the like button. Helps out. Also, like, if you're going to click on the video, like, I don't know, freaking mute it in another tab because the algorithm is dumb. How you doing, Parker?
I'm doing good. And also we have for anybody who doesn't know, we have the Patreon cast episode 3 up. So if you have access to that, but haven't listened to it, go check it out. There it is. It's on Patreon.
It's on Patreon and also the 8-bit, the 8-bit member Discord. So if you're like a $4 member somewhere else, or $5 somewhere else, you can give the difference between that and the $8 for the Patreon episode, and then you can listen to it through Discord. But that's all for that. We're going to talk about the main topic, the freaking Nintendo Direct, dude. It happened. It happened, man. Yeah. Or not the Nintendo Direct, because you know that we always got to move the goal.
This one doesn't count.
Yeah, we got to move the goal.
This one was, it was barely anything.
You know, they called it mini, so that means it's mini, even though it's 25 minutes long, and the first Direct ever was like 8 minutes. 25 minutes.
And also, for what it's worth, the E3 Nintendo Direct in 2017 that had 3DS games included. I mean, it was like the first 3 or 4 of them, but I'm pretty sure. I think that one was also 25 minutes, and that was like, that was a full-on Direct that like announced Metroid Prime 4 and stuff like that. So like people still feel like think of that one pretty highly. That was 25 minutes and included. I have hair in my face.
I realized that I didn't have Discord muted, but I fixed it. It was faster than the last time that I didn't realize I didn't have Discord muted, I was like, hold on. I realized I did not do that. Usually I try to like preemptively do things after I'm done with something. So like if I know what I'm going to stream tomorrow, I'll like go through and I'll freaking change the stream name and I'll like make the GIF and I'll schedule the tweet. And the last stream, I'll usually change it to the directly, like the last stream for the week on Wednesday. I usually change it to directly to you thing, and then I mute Discord for the thing, but I forgot to do it. So, but we're here now. Also, freaking Nintendo Direct, that happened.
So all that to say, there it is.
There it is. The Nintendo Direct happened. What did you think? Just before we even go through it.
Yeah, I thought it was. I mean, especially for a partner Direct, I didn't necessarily have low expectations. I just kind of was like, I don't know, we'll just kind of see what it is. But I wasn't like I wasn't mad going into it just because I remember specifically the October, the fourth one. I thought there were only 3. There were 4 in 2020. The fourth one, I remember watching and being like, oh, that was pretty good. Like, yeah, I'd watch that, and I did. Not just I would. So that had, decent expectations. And then it met those expectations and in my opinion exceeded them. I also was watching the stream, the Good Vibes Gaming stream, so I think that maybe helped a little bit because some games that I didn't necessarily care, like we'll get to some of the games later, but like Return to Monkey Island, I don't know anything about that, but they were like, oh no way, is this Return to Monkey Island? And I was like, I guess that's a cool thing. So as with most things, it's like, if nothing else, I was happy to see things that made other people happy, so like that's always a win. As for things for myself, I guess I honestly haven't really like thought super hard about how many of the things I'm excited for myself in this. So I guess we'll find out as we talk about it today. But I just thought it was good. Yeah. What about you?
So I'll say there wasn't really anything here that was new that I was like, freaking, I've been waiting for this. I wanted this for so long.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of stuff in there that I knew other people were waiting for and or thought would never happen that happened here. Like there's been such a long time that people were like, it's impossible for Persona 5 to come to Switch. Sony owns it, blah, 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 all this other crap.
Yeah.
And here it is. And that's always like an easy indicator of like whether a direct is good or bad, in my opinion, is like stuff like that where if a lot of announcements that very clearly make a well-defined group of people happy, that's a W, and that shouldn't be ignored. I think a lot of people, especially like influencers, people that do what we do, are too quick to exclusively judge directs on whether they like it or not. And it's fine to be like, this one wasn't for me or whatever, but to like blanket term a direct as bad when so many of those things where clearly people that are happy about this thing are pleased by this thing, it's weird to call it bad. Like it's one thing to say like I didn't really care about any of the stuff that's in there, but another for it to be bad, and that's where I'm at. Like the direct wasn't necessarily for me, but there was a lot of stuff that I would say were good.
Yeah. I mean, even and I think some of what you said especially is that like different people think about games differently and like the games that are available to them. I know that like if I had infinite time and a lot more money, that there's probably 100 games on the Switch library that I would play and would really enjoy, and I just haven't. So that said, like a game being exciting for like a game doesn't have to be like, I am going to play this game, that game, and that game for the direct to be good. Cause it can just be fun to be like, oh, cool. Like that's just a fun thing. Like it doesn't have to be a checklist of like my next games. But I think there are some other people that are a little bit more, maybe just more selective with like, I only play action adventure games and I only play whatever, to where there's like, I don't play indies at all. And like, that's fine if you don't play indies at all, but you shouldn't like shirk them as a important and like cool thing just because they're not up your alley. Yeah, and I think Persona especially, I mean, that's not indie, but that's, if you're not into JRPGs, maybe this wasn't the best direct for you specifically, because there was a lot of that. But yeah, like, I mean, Persona is a huge deal. Like that's finally coming, and like people have been wanting that forever. And yes, like it had gotten announced at Xbox before, so maybe that took a little bit of the like surprise away, but it's still like huge that that's finally here just because of the discourse for years.
It's not exactly rare for a game to be on Xbox and PlayStation but not on Switch. So I think even that being also something that like for people remove the surprise is like, all right, like come on. Like
yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, I thought it was good. So let's get into it, I guess.
Let's go
talk
through
about
it.
some of these games.
Play it on the thing on the other screen as we talk about the stuff that happens. I'm doing the UK version because the UK version has timestamps, and that's a W.
Nice. So first one was Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, which not like super surprising for that to show up at all, but kind of surprising for it to be first, just in that it's like that was coming out the next day. So like we knew about that. So I guess the main announcement part of that was them being like, there's DLC for the DLC, like it's coming in waves or whatever, that whole thing, which that's cool. But I mean, and it did start out at least like, if you didn't know about this or whatever, then it's like visually very stimulating and cool, and like big and grandiose. And that's like that's worth something.
I don't know how you don't know about this. This is like the 18th
if you're
time
watching
that
a
we've
direct,
seen.
yeah,
like we've seen this game many times. Like this game specifically has had multiple presentations that are dedicated to it. And this DLC specifically has had multiple presentations that were dedicated to it. So it's like, that's one that I would say is like, I mean,
Yep.
if it wasn't so dependent on like end game stuff, I would have been interested to try it out. But because it sounds like you got to be like 50 hours into the game, I'm like, I'll pass.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like this one would have done better as because it was how long is this? It was just under 4 minutes. So not like crazy long, but longer than anything else. And I think it would have done decently to be the like slightly longer trailer in the middle sort of a thing. But I'm actually kind of glad they didn't do that, because once you got past this, everything else was like just moving the whole time, which like, I think I'll say that about this direct. I think even if you don't care about the announcements or whatever, the pacing was consistently very good.
I will say,
and that's always fun.
admittedly, I didn't know about the pacing because, like, I mean, Bob made a video and he talked about it. I like the first one that I saw was the UK version. It had timestamps. So I was like, oh, dope. I'll just click around and look at the stuff. Like, not even necessarily the stuff that I care about. Click on stuff and watch it like I would watch it. Or like I would edit it, basically. Where I'm like, all right, this is dragging on. I'm going on to the next thing. Like,
I think, and I tweeted about that too, that like they've done this before, the whole like just upload the direct. And I think while like there's some benefit to that, but my biggest concern with it is that like the backlash or not backlash, but like the people that aren't going to love the direct are going to love it even less, because typically I think like pacing helps. I'm obviously not saying you in that context, but like for somebody else who was going to be mad, they're like, oh, there wasn't anything for me. They would skip through and be like, no, not that game, not that game. As opposed to like letting things happen kind of at the regular pace. And then like, again, I think their pacing is generally really well done, and they kind of ruin that by putting it up there.
Yeah.
So, you know, whatever. And it's like, it all in all doesn't matter, but it just means that you'll get more videos from people who were going to have middling reactions on it than be even more negative than they would, which all that stuff. But also like whatever, people can make opinions for themselves. So it's not that big of a deal.
Can they? Can they?
Yeah.
I don't know if they're capable of that.
Some people can.
I paused.
Yeah, people
I
in
paused
general,
at the wrong
maybe.
time. I didn't even realize that it was showing that. Yeah, there's the thing. It's showing the stuff. Everybody, here's the time releases and whatnot. Cool.
Look at it.
There's a demo, which is neat. Okay, next.
Weird to have a demo for DLC, it feels like. I mean, like, not bad, but like, a little unusual.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't complain.
No. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely good to do it. Next up, this one I was actually pretty excited about, and we'll probably pick up, I think, at least at some point, Nier Automata. Autonoma.
Yeah.
Automata.
This was another one of those games that people wanted for a long time and said was impossible, and here we got it.
Yep.
Neat.
Yep. And like it's running at Mark just said near Hakuna Matata. I cannot say this. Yeah, like it's running at a better frame rate than on the PS4. Not better frame rate. But I think it's 30 frames per second and it's 1080 docked, and I think it's less than that on the PS4 or something like that. So like all that to say, like that's awesome, and it's gonna look great and things. And honestly, from the footage, like it does look really good. So that's just really exciting. But you're right.
Yeah, I saw people tweeting about this.
Not coming.
I saw people tweeting about this announcement, and they would like put a filter over it and be like, Nier Automata run on Nintendo Switch, and it'll be like pixelated and stuff. I'm like, shut up, dude. Like,
yeah. No, it's just frustrating.
Yeah, it's so cringy.
But like awesome that it's finally coming. I've heard great things about this game, and I know the only thing I know about it, it's like you're supposed to play through it multiple times, and it's like different times or something, and all that. But like I guess you could technically also just play through it once, and then it's like a quick, less impactful, just 10-hour game.
Yeah, but
like,
then Nier Automata fans will make fun of you because you played the game wrong. So
yes,
it's all or nothing, or be bullied.
But honestly, it does, like, especially I thought Astral Chain looked really good, but there was also like there was aliasing that looked kind of shiny in a lot of places that like was, I don't know, just was what it was, and kind of looked weird and distracting a little bit. So even though some bits looked really good. Some other stuff like that was, less good. This, I'm not saying honestly any of that. I'm just rewatching the trailer now, and it just like straight up looks good across the board. So that's fun.
Yeah, looks good.
So
Good stuff. I mean, I think this is like more akin to a game that I would play, but I don't know. I like freaking like Square Enix. See if I get a code. If not, who knows, man? Depends on what else I'm doing in October.
I mean, if I get it, then you can.
True. Yeah. Oh yeah, you did say that you're getting it, so there's that.
Yeah, most likely.
I'll check it
Also,
out.
I mean, if nothing else, well, if this happens, because my birthday's in October, so maybe it'll be a birthday thing. But at that point, would probably be physical instead of digital, which
cannot be
played
played
digitally because cannot unless I throw it really, really far.
True. And it's after you'll be here, so that wouldn't work either.
That's true. Oh yeah, that's right. Alex said it's also not full $60. Is it $50? I think, is that right? Pretty sure. $40. Oh, okay. That's
neat.
Great. I'm down. Next,
cool.
Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. I didn't have a lot to say about this one. It's a mystery. Neato.
A murder mystery.
Yeah. Honestly, maybe we'll see what people say about it, and it could be depending on the how long it takes or any of those kinds of things. Could be a fun
they
one.
did the anime
with
shiny
or
glasses game thing, like with the anime when you're looking down the glasses. Except it was red. It was red light instead of just a glare.
Yep.
It did it again. It's such a weird name. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. Yeah, that stuff RP put it in the chat. Okay.
It really is.
Do we have anything else to say about this game?
Cool. It's Annapurna, and they're typically pretty good, so cool.
Neat.
There it is. Nice.
Okay.
Next up, Super Bomberman R2.
I'll still never forget Super Bomberman R, and I'll never forgive Bob for making that be my first Nintendo Switch memory. Because that game, I mean, it's fine. I'm not even willing to do the Bob It's Good meme, because I don't even think it's that good. It's not even like something that I would be like, I get why people like this. I don't. But it's not like offensive,
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't played Bomberman in a bit. Was there a demo for Bomberman R? Maybe. If so, I might have played.
There
that.
is a free version, I think, of Bomberman R.
Right,
It's like a Bomberman Online or
Royale
something like that. Yeah, something.
And I don't really want to do that. Okay, so I think for me, if this has a demo and we can play it with we can play it with the two of us, for example, and that would be fun, which I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm pretty sure you can play it with the two of you, but it probably would be boring. Because I feel like it's balanced for more people than that.
Yeah. If that, then I'll try it and we'll be curious about it. But otherwise, I don't think it specifically appeals to me. But I mean, still, honestly, it looks like there's a lot of features in it. So for people that it talks about exploration. Oh, there's a story mode.
Oh, and then there you go.
That's kind of fun.
There you go. There's if you like the gameplay.
I'll wait for reviews and stuff. But exactly, yeah. So I mean, but mostly it's just like, yeah, cool. There are Bomberman fans, and I'm excited for them that this exists. What if we got Bomberman 64 on N64? That'd be fun.
I think wasn't that one of the ones that we said would potentially come?
Honestly.
Well, I think it was. So we'll see. Yeah, no, I'll pass unless I feel like I'll end up having to get it because Bob's gonna want to play it and be cringe. So we'll see.
Yep. Does he stand by his Bomberman?
Yes.
I feel like.
Yes.
That's great. I love that. Cool. And a whole different kind of man. A Mega Man.
True.
Battle Network.
This
Legacy
I am
Collection.
interested in. This I do want. I want to get this. This game is neat.
Tell me why.
Because it's like another one of those games like Mario Strikers sort of situation where like It's way deeper than you would think, and there's like a there's like an active competitive scene for this video game. Now, I will say, if this isn't online, it's an L. They drop the ball if it's not online. I'll still probably play it because I never finished any of these. I played a little bit of like the first one and like the last few, but I never finished any. So I'd be interested to
like PvP in these games.
Yes.
Specifically.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. I wouldn't have guessed that just from like watching the trailer or whatever. So that's nice. I'm trying to see if it says.
Also,
I'm looking at the fine print on the last page to see if it talks about it being online
or not. I should probably. I mean, the thing is, like, I could ask the people like at Capcom if it is, but I feel like they wouldn't tell me. You know, like it being not already public is like something that they probably would be like, well, we didn't announce anything about that yet.
That's a good point.
It's like
and that's coming next year, is that right?
Yes, which is an L. That's an L that they did that. Granted, I feel like it's probably like not like holiday next year, so I think it still probably adheres to the whole thing of it being like within the next 12 months, preferably less than that. Yeah. Which is fine, but I think that like we don't need that much lead up for this game. Like this could have been something that's like, yo, it's coming out in 2 months, and people would have bought it or not, you know.
Yeah. Well, cool. I mean, if you get it, I'll definitely download it and try it out on yours, because I like just watch. It's the kind of thing where like watching it, I kind of have a concept of what's going on, but like not really. So
the thing that initially like not got me interested in it in the sense that I was actively paying attention in this way. But like it's a Pokemon thing. Like it's a product of Pokemon where they're like, oh, we can get in on that. We can get on the link battles and that sort of stuff. And then they did the whole anime situation, and that's what made me know about it in the first place. It was on Kids WB, and I was like, oh, this is a W. Like I think I played Mega Man X before this, and other than that, I had no other attachment to Mega Man at all, but that anime and these games were neat, and I like those. And I always wanted one of those freaking PDA freaking toys when I was a kid, but could never find it. So we're gonna pay to see it.
That's great. Yep. Honestly, I think I'm rewatching the trailer now with like more context, and so it's like there's an overworld, you're doing things in there, and then the battles are the little guys with the squares and things. And so the battles are like kind of, it's at least that last one I watched didn't really seem particularly turn-based. It's kind of like active.
It's like it's what is it called? Steam Project Steam. What is that game called on 3DS? It's like it gives me those kind of vibes where it's like it's somewhere in between. Like it is turn based where it's like you're taking a turn kind of, but like it's more active than that. It's somewhere in between. I'd say it's like in between where like Xenoblade Chronicles is like more action than it is turn based, but it's still kind of turn based. It's in between that and then like Pokemon. You know, it's like kind of action, kind of turn based, but like a little bit more turn-based than it is action.
Okay, cool. Well, that's fun. Yeah, I mean that seems pretty neat. So good stuff. I mean, also that was one of those ones, like basically a lot of these classic things from like big franchises, you know, the people that are fans of that franchise are just
like a Mario RPG. Yeah, that's a good example, Alex.
Yeah,
kind of like that. Yes.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, I know. Again, I was watching Vibes game stream, and why am I blanking on his name now? Ash. Thank you, Alec. Ash was thrilled, and that's nice. So there it is. The next up, another classic kind of coming back, Pac-Man World Repack.
I don't care about this at all.
So it's remade apparently because they still don't have the license to Miss Pac-Man, so they just had. I mean, it's not remade because of this. But like, I think probably the reason we haven't just seen a regular HD version seems to be that Miss Pac-Man was in it, and they switched Miss Pac-Man up to be like Lady Pac-Man or something, to where it's like different model and stuff. And so that's like probably the reason that we have this whole thing, which is hilarious. But I don't know. I think it looks cool. It's just a little platform and stuff. It's not. There's better platformers I could pick up instead, I'm sure. So it's, I'm not like, I don't care that much about Pac-Man.
Yeah, I have no nostalgia for this game at all. My exposure to Pac-Man is just Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man, and that's it. And even those, I'm like, I could take or leave them. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah,
but for apparently this is like a cult classic, so hopefully the cult is happy.
It honestly does seem like also there's a pretty wide array of gameplay elements, which like as long as they're all done well, then that's cool. Yet again, if there's a demo, I'll probably download the demo and play it with Ashley, and then we'll kind of go from there. Even then, that's sometimes a bit hit or miss, where there's been a couple times like Mystery Dungeon where we downloaded the demo and we're like, yeah, and then we got the game and we played more of the demo than we did ever of the game.
Right.
So like, all right, we'll see.
Fair enough.
But speaking of co-op games,
true.
Well, that was not co-op, but
this one specifically, I paid attention to because I immediately knew that Youth was going to like this game. So I was like, all right, I gotta like be able to tell her the details and whatnot. But yeah, this game was cool.
It looks super cool.
I like the art style. I like co-op games. They're fun.
For audio listeners, this is Blanc.
True.
The
Blanc.
one with the little deer. Oh, I need to show this one to Ashley. She loves deer. And a little doggo. And we also love doggos. They said it has like storytelling without any dialogue.
So Sonic the Hedgehog sort of deal. Sonic 3 specifically.
Yeah. Which I really like that. So that's just really fun. Like environmental storytelling kind of stuff. No text at all, it said. Okay, cool. Yeah.
That's a W. Hate text.
For sure. And it says it's out February 2023. So okay, it said it the whole time. For some reason I just thought it said 2023.
Yeah.
But knowing that it's February, that's nice because like at least we have some context of where that is.
So
it looks super good.
This would probably be a stream thing. Probably not on my stream though. Probably, or our stream, but probably on Youth's channel. So check out that.
Nice. So yeah, so far, I mean, for the most part, just good announcements out the gate. Return to Monkey Island. I really don't know.
I know nothing about
the trailer.
This.
Yeah, and like listening to the Good Vibes Gaming folks talking about it. Still, it seems like a adventure game in the sense of like.
Isn't it a point and click adventure game?
Yes, I think it's that kind of a thing. So there you go. Like as opposed to action adventure or whatever, to where. There is text in this one and dialogue and whatnot.
People are being cringe about this game. Apparently they don't like the art style. So they're like harassing the dude that's making it. And he said that he's not going to talk about it on the internet anymore because people are being cringe.
Oh my goodness.
Why? And that's dumb on their part.
Yeah. I mean, the art style is definitely it's definitely stylized to be this art style, but it's not like why are you mad about it? Or I guess what is the old
same
art
reason why
like?
people are mad about like the freaking Link's Awakening Switch thing. Like people just decide that they don't like the look of something and they get angry.
Yeah. Look up the old Monkey Island arts. I mean, it looks like RuneScape 3D, like that kind of thing or whatever. Yeah, no, I think this is. I mean, I'm sure if you're a Monkey Island fan and you're like, yes, I'm so excited for it to be like gritty.
No, I'm not giving them
Twilight Princess kind of a thing.
Their flowers. They're cringe.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm just saying, I can imagine their expectations were something, and then this is different. But I think this is much more defined of an art style than something else. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. That said, I don't care about this game, but I do think that people
likewise
should stop being dumb and the art style doesn't matter that much. Like if you like the game, play the game. Who cares?
Yep. Mark said the art style reminds me of Guacamelee. Definitely agreed. also
True.
reminds me of too, and I can't place my finger on it. Like Don't Starve, is that kind of like this?
I mean, I can
No,
see.
what am I thinking?
I can see that kinda, not like aesthetically, but it like the animation is similar.
Yeah, right. Kind of like
They like
papery,
move
puppety
kind of the
kind
same.
of.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I don't know. Cool. It is what it is. Probably not really a game for me. But
Definitely not for
glad
me. I
that
don't have
some people are
patience for
happy
playing
and
Crazy
mad that
Adventure.
some people are dumb.
Yeah, true.
This next one's kind of a smaller game. Nah, we'd never heard about it before at all. Mario plus Rabbids.
That's a
Spartan's
fact.
Bow.
I never heard of this game. And you know, I'd be better off if that remained the truth. But having heard of it now, I'm angry.
Yep.
And prepared to riot.
Nice. It does look like visually looks really, really good. And that's nice. I mean, the first one did, and this one just like kind of ups the ante even more. Although it's funny because like I can definitely see some Immortals Phoenix Rising thing, like tendencies or something in here in some ways too, like the way that they're doing, I don't know, grass or something like that feels, something about it feels familiar to that, but like a better art style, which I don't know, it meshes better in this game than it did in that game. But overall, yeah,
They gave Mario a
good
title
and,
card, as if we don't know who Mario is.
yeah.
Rabid Rosalina,
You know who Mario is?
cringe. Rabid Luigi, still cringe. I don't care.
I
about
personally
this game.
really liked the first game.
Fair enough.
And I'm curious if, I'm just curious how this one kind of like expands on the first one in various ways. You know, like I didn't even remember, like people were excited that there's experience in this one. I didn't remember there not being experience in the other ones. So I thought there was, or maybe there was something different, but this one also seems a little bit more actiony, a little bit like they kind of stripped away a little bit of the XCOM and put some other like Mario stuff back in, or maybe that lowers the barrier of entry for folks. I don't know. Yeah, just curious about all that. But like, first one is fun. I feel like you can definitely just wait for this one to go on sale for like $15.
True.
Honestly, it comes out October
3 months
20th
later.
by Black Friday.
Yeah, exactly.
Like literally. I mean, probably
Facts.
$30 by Black Friday and then $15 by, April next year at some point. But
Yeah.
good stuff.
It's fine. This game's happening. That's my thought.
is.
That said, October's nuts. Like, there's a lot of stuff coming out in October,
Yeah.
and like with that in mind, the only thing I'm playing is Forspoken, and that's it. That's all I'm gonna play, which means I gotta freaking momentarily take my PlayStation 5 out of the attic, but it'll go back.
Nice. Makes sense. All right, moving on. Little Noah, Scion of Paradise. The only thing that stood out to me about this one specifically is it's the same art director or something as in Bravely Default, I think. And you can tell.
Is this is the people that made that the Dragalia Lost?
Is it?
I think so.
Oh, we finna find out.
It kind of looks like Dragalia Lost.
Little Noah, Scion of Paradise. Sardi says yes. Oh, Psy Games. Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
That's them.
Yep.
Interesting. Why have we not seen a Switch Dragalia Lost game? Not like Dragalia Lost mobile
Like that
on Switch,
that
but
like franchise.
just that IP.
I don't know.
Yeah, they've like set it up at this point now. Like, go ahead and do something with it.
True.
I don't know. Just me. But like, I don't know. Cool.
Neat.
There it is. Yes, neat indeed. Moving along. Some of these will probably move through a little bit quickly.
Trains!
I don't have a lot of thought.
I don't care about this.
Yeah? Do you love this game? Okay.
No. What is this game
I mean,
called? I skipped past what it was called.
Railgrade?
Oh.
Yeah, real great.
If you like trains, here's a game for you.
Yep.
Do
Yet
you have
another
any
game
thoughts?
that like it's probably one that once I got into it, I'd probably end up playing it a lot. So I'm just not going to. Not that I care about trains, but just like
system
kinda
management and yeah.
I think so. That's what I'm
Yeah.
learning about myself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, only if it's done well. Like it's not always done well. So it could easily be that I'd played a bit and then stop. But just not going to bother. So there it is. Moving along. This next one, RPG Time: The Legend of Right, reminded me of the game that we saw just a little bit ago.
This reminded me, not to say it's the same kind of game, but it gave me the vibes of the game with the guy with the kid that has a brother and he's like in the hospital or something, and he makes games and
that's
yeah,
fun.
like it
Yeah.
made me think of that game.
What was that one called? It was like the kid's name or something.
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember what the game's called, but I just remember it was about a kid that makes games and he was making it for his brother.
The game that it the Plucky Squire. There you go. It reminded me a bit of the Plucky Squire, which we saw recently.
James.
James Turner.
Yeah.
Which that was the way I had to look up the game. I was like, game by James Turner, because I couldn't remember the name. But yeah, I could definitely see what you were saying too. I don't remember that game's name, but it seems like it's cool. Yeah, so for audio listeners and stuff, it's very much like it's on little storybook or pages and like somebody's,
Like
drawing
turning
the
through the
game
pages and drawing it. And, yeah, it looks neat.
Yep.
I'll check this out. Looks neat.
Yeah. I could see it being a hidden gem kind of a thing down the road if not a lot of people pick it up. Could also see it kind of not really honestly, I'm just going to go out on a limb. I don't see this turning out terribly. Worst case scenario is
It'll
like
do fine.
Kind of neutral.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
like
yeah.
I think generally it's got a lot of heart behind it and that goes a long way, So
I like the aesthetic,
job.
and that's the only reason why I'm checking it out.
yep.
A game
Next
I
up,
don't
Sonic
like the
Frontiers.
aesthetic.
I'm sticking to my guns from the things I've said the other times, which is that like I think it looks fine-ish, Like I was glad that we saw a tiny bit of a new area. This trailer overall was like a better made trailer, which doesn't change the game, but at least it's more fun to watch. But they showed this little like city area, and that's fun.
True.
And we were talking about a city area ourselves. Really, they just listen to us, and that's what it is.
No, they didn't listen. They didn't listen because they wouldn't be making this game if they listened to me.
Yeah, man.
I don't know.
Not
I
a whole
can't
lot
see
more to
it. I
say,
can't
honestly.
see it being good. I can't see it. I would be surprised. I feel like we're mid Sonic cycle and people are too blind to see it because that's how the Sonic cycle works.
I mean, yeah, I do remember before Sonic Forces came out, and everybody's like, "Yeah," and then the
This
demo
is the
came out,
time.
and
It'll be
"No."
good. Exactly. Yeah. It always happens, man. It's the thing is like, if you spend any amount of time analyzing game trailers and release cycles and stuff like that, it is not hard to know what games will be good and bad. It's not hard. It is very rare for a game to be surprising in that way. In the year of our Lord 2022. So I would be surprised if this is good. And that's still where I'm at.
Yep. I think for me, yeah, I'll just stick to this. It's like there's a middle ground between good and bad that's somewhere in the like entertaining kind of space, and that's all I'm expecting of this game.
That's fair.
But it could fail at that.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, like, I think that when we, like, I don't think Sonic is a franchise that should be occupying that space.
Yeah, that
Like, I think
like because
Sonic
if Mario
is a video,
occupies that
yeah,
space, then it's like, wow, that was a bad game.
exactly. Like, I think Sonic is a video game icon and shouldn't be coming out with subpar games that are like, oh, this was a fun distraction. It'll be $60, Like,
Yeah.
I think that Sonic should be better than a game that is fine, you know. And not even the thing is, like, Sonic even rarely occupies the space of fine. It's usually on the bad side. It's like, this game was designed poorly. I had fun every once in a while, but you know, like, that's where Sonic's like best case scenario for not being good. It's either Sonic is good, passable, or terrible.
Yeah. Makes sense. So yeah, I guess we'll see. Next one, we're probably just gonna skip it.
I have
Disney
no
Dreamlight Valley.
idea
It's kind of like
what is happening here.
It's sort of like
No, they got Quaxley
Animal
in this game.
It's Buccaneer. Duccaneer, thank you very much. His evolution. Honestly, like, I know that was something the community came up with, but if one of its evolutions is not named Duccaneer, that's such a missed opportunity.
No, that'd be cringe. That'd be cringe.
Truly a great game.
That'd be cringe. We can't have the colonizer
Community
duck
win like that.
We can't have the colonizer duck. We got to change
Well,
the
Buccaneer's
course.
also like a, or it could be like a, more like a pirate at that point, because a Buccaneer.
Yeah,
more
the
kind of
pirate
in
would
my
be better.
mind.
That's kind of the opposite of that.
Yeah. Rebels with a cause. You know? So yeah, there you go. Disney Dreamlight Valley. Cool. There it is.
Taking a selfie and being friends with Ursula is crazy. Like, if you're friends with Ursula, you're probably a terrible person. I'm just gonna say it.
Probably, yeah. She gross.
What's the fact? She's a sea witch that steals from people their voices and shit. Crap. I said it. I said the word. Hate to see it.
Ah, you did.
I did.
I heard it there wrong.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, you did say crap.
Mm-hmm.
I was like confused.
Yeah, no. Rip.
put a
Anyways,
somewhere for us to
next
do
game.
All right, next game, Live Alive. They just announced a
Is
demo
that how you
for
say
it.
it?
I played Live Alive.
Oh
I
my
meant to say Live
God.
Alive.
I'm ready for this game to
It
be
is
out
Live
so I
Live.
can stop having to think about how it's said.
Yep.
You said there's a demo. Did you play
played the demo for
How
it.
was the demo?
I did. I'll talk about it in games we're playing.
I'm
time
so
instead.
sick. I'm
But-
so sick of people doing that too. What Alec just did.
I'm doing
Typing it.
Oh, it's good.
It's like you
I'm
say
watching
it
some of
like this, and this is you bring up the thing that I'm confused about in the first place. No, I saw somebody talk about the freaking HD 2D thing, and they didn't even say HD 2D. They're like, more 2D HD games, and I'm like, you don't even got the term right. Like, freaking.
Man, I didn't watch the Treehouse for this, but they did have a Treehouse for this.
Yeah, that was weird.
And I'm just like kind of skipping through
I didn't
it
see
right
it, but
now
I was
and seeing
surprised
some
that they even
things.
did that.
And one thing I don't totally know with this game is like there are multiple different stories. So there's multiple different stories, and in the demo, you play just like a chapter or the first chapter of 3 of them. So I played the first full chapter of one, and then I started on the first chapter of a different one. But I don't know when you're actually playing it. Do you skip around through them? I mean, like, or not? They're like one continuous story each, but do you like have to, once you start one, you have to finish that one and then you can move on to another one? Or could you get a couple chapters into one, skip to a different one, do a little bit of that one, like that whole thing? I don't know. So that's something I'm curious about, but I'll talk more about the
also
demo
want,
when we
like,
get
even
to it
removed
later.
from like the original or whatever, right? Like, if you couldn't do it in the original, I don't think that necessarily means that you can't do it in this, because that feels like
That's true. Alec also
like
just
a
said you can bounce
modernism.
around. So
Oh, okay, makes sense. Cool.
yeah. So again, even if you couldn't do it in the other, you can now, like you said. So that's good. But yeah, we'll talk more about that a little bit later. Moving on, next one, Doraemon Story of Seasons, Friends of the Great Kingdom.
This
Story of
is
Seasons game, skipping it.
yeah, this is a fake Harvest Moon situation.
There you go. Well, it's the whole, like, I think technically this is the Harvest Moon IP, blah, 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 but
Yeah,
in any case, I've heard this one, and I think this is a port, and it's like not that great of a game anyway. So whatever.
Just play Stardew Valley.
So good. That's it. Minecraft Legends. We've heard about this one already.
Yeah, we saw this
Xbox
at the
presentation, I
Xbox
think.
thing. And I
Cool.
didn't
So,
care
I don't have
about
any
it
new
then.
opinions.
I don't care about it now. Next.
This is is it a like single player story game?
I have
kind
no
of thing?
idea. I don't know.
Cool. Me neither.
I'd be kind of surprised if it was single player though.
I think maybe it's kind of like more like Dragon Quest Builders.
That's what I
think
thought.
that's right.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought it was.
So
like
in
that
which
sort of
case, I mean, that is, story thing and all that, but also building and blah, blah, blah. So like, cool. Neat stuff. Moving on. Speaking of Dragon Quest Treasures.
I don't even know what this is. I mean, I've seen
don't
this,
really
but I
either.
don't know what kind of game
Yeah.
it's supposed to be.
And I don't know if this is accurate at all, but somebody was speculating, like, is it kind of, like Dragon Quest Breath of the Wild in that it's like trying to get treasure and open world kind of thing, but it's a game that's already been out and it's just coming now. So obviously not Breath of the Wild in the like fully literal sense, but just in that it's open world and kind of exploratory and stuff.
There's a
Couldn't tell
flying
you.
train thing.
Mm-hmm.
It just summoned a bat thing.
As well you should.
I'm not playing this, but
No, I mean, I would just go for finally getting around to Dragon Quest 11 before this. But cool that it's here,
December 9th.
Yeah,
Next game.
there it is. Next game. Okay, this was the sizzle reel, I think. No, maybe not. Captain Velvet Meteor, the Jump Plus dimension.
This
was
is a
confused
scissor
on what
reel.
this one was.
This is a scissor reel.
Okay.
So
there's that.
No Man's Sky, Fire Emblem, Three Hopes. That's already out. No Man's Sky. Freaking a Plague Tale, Requiem, something. Captain Velvet Meteor, the Jump Plus Dimensions. And then I don't know if this is the same game. I don't know what's happening with the dog that's being hugged. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
Oh, Portal.
Yeah, Portal. That's out now. I assume you've played Portal to some degree?
I've played it, yeah. I played it on the Xbox a long time ago. But I am debating asking Bob if he wants to stream it because I feel like people would like that.
Because it's Portal 2 has
Yeah.
multiplayer, is that
Yeah,
right?
it's co-op.
Nice.
It's like a whole co-op campaign situation.
That's awesome. I played like several levels of Portal 1 just at a friend's house, and I think he showed me the last level. So I have like some concept of that as well. But I haven't like played through the whole thing myself before. So yeah, it's one of those things, like probably if I have some eShop money lying around at some point, I'll pick it up. I'm not in like a super rush for it, but like good game. So great that it's finally here.
Truth.
Yes. All right, two more games. Well, kind of two more announcements. Harvestella, which honestly, the more I watched the trailer, initially I was like, nah, I'm good. And the more I watched of it, I was like, all right, it's pretty cool.
What is even is this just real life Harvest Moon? Real life anime Harvest Moon?
I mean, basically, I guess it's kind of like Rune Factory 5 in that.
Oh,
or
I
Rune
don't
Factory,
care.
Whatever. In that it's like, Stardew Valley kind of farming sim sorts of things, but then the much more Final Fantasy-ish fights and monsters and doing all that stuff. So
Weebier.
very much so.
Quiet
Absolutely.
us.
Yep.
So there's RPG stuff happening. People just turn their lights on. More RPG stuff. Yeah, no, this isn't a game for me. But I'm happy if you're happy.
Honestly, I haven't done enough farming sim stuff outside of Stardew Valley to know if it's a genre I care about outside of just enjoying Stardew Valley. You
I
know
like
what I mean?
Stardew
To where,
Valley
like,
and I like Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life, and outside of that, I don't care.
yeah, it's just, to be honest, I mean, I think Mark tweeted this the other day, but something about like I see a game with like a CFR or a game that reminds me of Stardew Valley into I remember Stardew Valley, I want to play Stardew Valley again. I play Stardew Valley again, and then
True.
into I see a game that reminds me of Stardew Valley, and then like that whole loop. And it's true, like there's
True.
I for the farming sim part specifically, I'm like I could just play the game that I already know that I like of that. Whereas there's other games where like if I see, you know, a JRPG, I'm not thinking like, oh, that's cool. I'll probably go play Bravely Default again or something. Like I'll instead want to play the new JRPG. But farming sim specifically, just I'm attached to my crops, you know, like they just mean so much to me. And new crops, who cares about new crops? No,
That's a fact.
I don't know. And then finally, the big announcement: Persona.
This was weird. This was very weird. The whole like how they announced it with this like freaking 3DS Morgana model. Very strange.
Yeah.
And also it was like a long drawn out way to announce something that was like a foregone conclusion as soon as Morgana appeared, you know? Like
Right. Yeah. Honestly, even as soon as the like take your heart thingy showed up there, it's like, oh, okay. Yeah,
Yep.
we get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Persona 5 Royal coming neat. And the what, Persona 4 and S3?
Yep.
Yeah, so those
Persona
games.
4 Golden and Persona
The thing
3
is, like,
Portable.
part of me is curious about Persona 5 specifically, but
know.
also
Me too.
don't really care because like I can play it for free and I still haven't played it. Granted, it's not portable, so I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's several games that like, you know, I don't have Game Pass right now. I don't have an Xbox right now, honestly.
But even removed from that,
when
even without Game Pass, I have a PlayStation, and I can play it for free.
Well, I mean,
on
I was
that,
just saying,
right?
like, same kind of thing is there's games where it's like, oh, cool, I've wanted to play Crosscode. Crosscode's on Game Pass. I have Game Pass. But I want to play it on
it's like,
Switch.
yeah,
So, like,
yeah.
you know, I totally feel that. Like, just having access to the game. Technically, actually, I have access to Crosscode because itch.io had a big sale for, like, raising money for Ukraine back, like, several months ago at this point. And so I bought that and, you know, donated some money and got, like, 9,000 games as a reward. Most of which I don't even know what they are. But there's a couple in there that's like, oh, cool. I specifically do want to play these games. And I have them on, you know, accessible on my computer, but I just don't really care yet to do them because I'd rather just play them on Switch. So
Yeah, I
it is
feel
just
that.
actually, which brings us perfectly into a
Yeah,
follow-up conversation.
True.
So that was the showcase. I thought overall it was an entertaining one to watch. Several of the games are ones that I'll keep my eye on. Also could be that I don't pick a single one of these up and I still had a good time watching it. So that's, you know, it is what it is. That's not true.
Yep.
I for sure am going to pick up Blanc and what else? Here, I'm going to open up this little infographic thingy that they always do. Okay, so for sure Blanc, pretty sure Live Alive after having played the demo and stuff. Eventually going to get Portal, probably Nier Automata. And then, yeah, probably eventually Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, especially once it goes on sale, and maybe Persona 5 down the road. So those are like my short.
I'm
please.
gonna try to do the same thing. I have pulled the thing. I freaking Nintendo.
It's in the doc as well.
Oh, it's in the doc. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Well, not the picture, but a link to the place that has the picture. It's still a little convoluted.
Do I not have the doc? Oh wait, I do. It's right here.
It's the link right under the
Nintendo
second link in the
Direct,
first section.
the Nintendo Life one. Okay.
And then it just has the tweet in it. Yeah, that's the one.
Got it. I agree. Stop asking me if I agree. I've already agreed. Dang. Okay. Now there's that, and then I gotta go back to the thing I just left out of this scene.
Persona.
Okay, here we are. Here's the
feels
thing. The maybes for me are Persona 5. That's a maybe. It might do it. Near Automata, I'm leaning more towards probably going to play that than maybe. Absolutely not. I mean the reluctant definite is Sonic Frontiers. The definite like for sure definitely want to buy these is Mega Man, Blanc, probably Portal, but that's somewhat dependent on if me and Bob end up streaming it. Other than that,
Yeah.
eh.
Oh, and I guess the
also,
RPG time one.
Bomberman R is also in that. In the if Bob ends up wanting to
Bob.
play it, yeah.
Yep.
What RPG
So yeah,
one?
good stuff. The RPG time, Legend of Right. The
Oh yeah,
storybook
that too. That's a problem.
Oh, and for you, Mega Man Battle Network, probably.
yeah, that's a definite. I'm definitely getting that one.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Good list, honestly. Yeah, it's a bunch of games. So
There it is.
there was. I only read the headline. I didn't read the article itself. But
I mean, I don't really care about the article per se,
Yeah.
but just this concept that like people are talking about right now with the Steam Deck and like the fact that a lot of them don't feel as excited by Nintendo Directs because they have a Steam Deck because they're like, oh well, I finally get to play this portably. Oh wait, I have a Steam Deck. I could have always played this portably. It's like how does that matter to everybody else? Like
exactly.
I'm not freaking paying $600 to get a Steam Deck. I'm not doing that, and I already have a Switch. And on top of that, everybody that I see that has a Steam Deck talks about how convoluted it is to have a Steam Deck. So it's not even like a 1-to-1 comparison. Like you still have to jump through hoops to play games on this thing.
To be
And
honest,
if you're not now, you're going to eventually.
right. And whether this changes or I've just heard some people say this and it's not entirely true of everybody, whatever. A lot of people that I've heard talk about having a Steam Deck are like, it was cool to get it, to be like, oh, cool, let me try out this game and that game and that game. And then it just sits there for a while. And that's pretty much it. You know, it's like, obviously that's not everybody's experience. There's definitely got to be.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that like the Steam Deck a lot. Like Bob likes the Steam Deck a lot. So, I mean,
But yeah,
this isn't me saying that it doesn't have merit or anything like that, but I do think it's a bad sentiment to be like, oh man, the Steam Deck invalidates the Switch, because it doesn't. Like the Switch is half the price and much easier to pick up and play.
Yeah. And also, I mean, like, yeah, there's just a whole different market for it too, where like there's a very limited market for the Steam Deck specifically that does exist and like is very excited about it and could very well be more excited about it than about the Switch.
Right.
And that's fine. But yeah, I think just assuming that there aren't people that just don't fall in that is a little silly.
Yeah, because I think that's most people. Like you already are like the base expectation of people that want to play games portably. They already are okay with sacrificing quality. That much is clear, right? And then you also have to take into consideration, even removed from the people that want to play stuff portably, a much more popular demographic across the board is people that don't want to fight their game console to play their games. So they just get the thing that lets them pop a game into the thing and then go on about their life, you know? And Steam Deck doesn't really do that. Yep. Like you have to consult like tables and stuff for certain games if it even is compatible, and that doesn't happen. Like if a game is on Switch, it will play on your Switch.
I thought, we take for granted in the community that we have just the silent majority of people that play games, and especially on the Nintendo front, that's just like families that don't. That it just needs to be the easiest thing, and not even the easiest thing, but the most just like placed in front of them kind of thing that it can be. And is something where they wouldn't even consider the fact that on a Steam Deck, well, A, wouldn't have heard of the Steam Deck, but B, wouldn't have considered the fact that on the Steam Deck you would have to do setup. Like that concept is like,
even if I wanted a Steam Deck, I can't buy a Steam Deck right now. And that process is even convoluted. You know, like even when the Switch, it's like supply constrained. It's not this whole thing where it's like, all right, I pre-ordered a Switch. Am I wave 4? You know, do I get mine Q2 2023? Like, what?
Yeah, it feels kind of like a Linux fanatic.
Yeah,
feeling like, well, nobody should be watching the Apple presentation thing or whatever, them announcing the iPhone 14 or something, because like Linux is so much better, and it's like, cool, sure. Maybe.
I'm happy that it's good for you. I don't feel like dealing with it. I'm very happy that it's good for you. But for me, no thank you. I will pass. Kindly.
I am lazy. So like, thank you for easy things.
True. Also, I just don't care.
And also, you know,
I just don't care as much about the stuff that, or at all, really. I like genuinely don't care at all. I never think about the visual fidelity of a video game when I'm playing the video game. I never do. Like ever. Like even the stuff that people are like, oh, the anti-aliasing, like when you were talking about earlier, I don't care. As long as I can play the game, I will play the game. Like that's all I care about.
I think more often than not, if some does look good, then like a couple of times throughout the game, I'll be like, oh, that's not like when I was playing Luigi's Mansion 3. There was a couple of times where I took a screenshot or it's like video because I was like, man, they did a really good job with this. But if they hadn't done that, it wouldn't have changed the game at all.
I noticed that 2 times.
I just wouldn't have had that.
I noticed it twice. I noticed it when they announced the game. I'm like, oh, this game's pretty cool. I noticed it the first time I played the game. Oh, this game's pretty cool. And then never again. Ever again. I'm not a screenshot person. And if I'm taking a screenshot or recording something, it's because something funny happened or interesting or whatever. Yeah. It's never because I'm like, man, these pixels were arranged in such a beautiful way. Like
they're good pixels.
I just want the pixels to make what I'm doing legible. I just like as long as they do that, they do their job and thumbs up. You know.
Yep. I mean, it's like we played Fall Guys on our game night this week too, and I was like, I feel like this game's running particularly well. And then somebody was like, I mean, not really, the menus kind of suck. And I was like, that's a good point. But the game's like, people are just like moving around in T poses, but it's still like functional. You know, like I'm not ever mad at the game for messing me up, just for like, you know, obstacles, or other players, like if
that's when
messing me up, which is like the right thing.
That is the only time that performance matters to me. If like the game is not playable, if the game, its visuals or whatever makes the game harder to play, then we have an issue. And I don't mean in the pretentious way where it's like, I was distracted by the muddy textures. I mean in the sense where it's like, I can't tell the difference between the character model and the floor model, you know, or the floor texture, or like that sort of stuff is like, yeah, no, that's gross. But other than that, it's like, I don't care. So I'm not going to pay extra money and jump through extra hoops to get that if that's the only benefit. Is that it's a little prettier, you know? It's like, whatever. Because next generation, people are going to be saying that's ugly. Like, it's crazy to me that people act like even if a game looks like a 360 game, that it's unplayable, because when 360 came out, people were watering at the mouth for that. And that's weird to me. Like, if something, like me, N64 was always ugly. It was always an ugly console from day one. And it is ugly now, you know. It's not really a moving goalpost. It's like either something looks good or it doesn't.
Yeah. No, I feel that. So yeah, there you go. There's all that. That's the Direct and whatnot. Moving into some other news bits. The day after the Direct, Nintendo had investor meeting, and there's two takeaways from this. The first one is that a fan paid $40,000 with quotation marks, paid $40,000 to be able to ask about F-Zero. Really, the context is he bought $40,000 shares that he'd sold $40,000 worth of shares in a different company so that he could have 100 shares in Nintendo to be able to go to the meeting, which still, that's hilarious and awesome. But it's not like he lost 40,000. In any case, still
Yeah.
very fun.
Yeah, like he
asked
wasn't
about that.
specifically doing that so he can ask that question and that's it. Like he still those shares are still there and they're still worth money.
Yeah, exactly. I think if he'd just lost that money at the end of it, like I don't think he would have done it. But still, it's a fun thing. The question was, let's see. Basically he asked about, it doesn't show the actual like question he asked, it just shows their answer, but I guess we can assume at the question like, hey, what's going to happen with this? I'm trying to see if it says, it doesn't, whatever. They said it's realistically difficult to develop new titles and remakes, including sequels, for every Nintendo game that people request, but we are very grateful and appreciate the expectations our fans have for our games. And also, we're always considering how to develop new titles and remakes that can be enjoyed by many players.
Which is not an answer.
What a non-answer.
Yeah.
I mean, still great that, he got to ask it and stuff. Obviously, this isn't where they're going to tell that kind of stuff. If there is a new game, they wouldn't be like, well, we've got one in the works, because they would just wait and show us. But yeah, in any case, fun times. So my question to you,
I feel like that amount of money is not enough to even put it on their radar. Like if somebody bought $2 billion worth of Nintendo stock and they were like, yo, I want an F-Zero game. Tell them might think about that, but a couple $1,000, I don't know about that. That's like not even a day's worth of profits for them, I'm sure.
Honestly, yeah. So my question to you is, what would you, and I don't have an answer for this yet, so I'm going to try to scrounge one up too. What would you pay $40,000 to ask Nintendo? If you had one question.
Why aren't they buying Bandai Namco?
There it is. Yeah. And honestly, that one feels
or doing the thing that Bandai Namco is doing with freaking Ilka, where they're co-founding a studio together or whatever.
Yeah. That makes sense. Trev said, imagine they were like, oh my goodness, finally someone said the magic code word. Now we can reveal the new F-Zero game, which has been in development for 50 years.
True. It's funny that you brought that up. We're going to announce that today. Exactly. Imagine.
That reminds, if anybody watches Arrested Development, that's Ben Stiller's character in that. He's a magician who he's like Mr. Wonder or something like that. And he'll always be hiding somewhere. And as soon as somebody says I wonder, Tony Wonder, that's what it is. Thank you, Mark. As soon as somebody says I wonder what we're going to have for dinner, he'll just pop out and be like, did someone say wonder?
Oh my
God. Then it also shows him hiding in the thing for 7 hours just waiting for somebody to say it, and it's just a fun little bit. So there it is. All right, there's that.
So what's your answer? What's your answer?
Oh, I don't know. I was trying to skirt past that because
oh my God,
I would ask them because the thing is, most questions you would just get
a non-answer.
Just get the same non-answer.
Yeah.
So that's not worth it. I could ask about something specific, but whatever. So I feel like you have to ask something that's maybe more about a process of theirs or whatever, okay. I think I would ask them just because the first thing that comes to mind now, about development teams. I'll come back to it. If I have an answer later, I'll come back to it, but I should have come up with one myself, but for
you asked the question.
We're going to move on. Yeah. All right, continue. We got Nintendo. In that gave some numbers, and one of them that's very interesting. Have you seen this?
No, I saw nothing from this.
Okay.
I only saw that headline, and that's it.
Yep.
About the F-Zero thing.
So this one, the second one, is interesting. They showed their money spend on various things, and the money spend on raw materials and supplies is through the roof as compared to other years. The last year that it was, so if you pull it up, there's a chart in there, And in the fiscal year 03-19, it shows 32,000 million yen. So 32 billion yen spent that year. And that was the year they were developing the Switch Lite and the like Switch revision as well. So, which, that was so a significant amount of money for that. And this year they're showing double that amount of money, which is like a ton. So 66 billion yen on raw materials and supplies. And so people asked about this, and Nintendo's answers was kind of vague and
of course,
it makes sense. They said it's necessary to prepare for production by securing the inventory of raw materials and parts as soon as possible. The first reason is that we keep more raw material inventories than before. Sure. Okay. The second reason is the change in accounting due to the application of the new revenue recognition standard and its impact. Also reasonable, but it's worth having done very minimal, but some things in accounting. You would probably show that retroactively as well so that you're comparing apples to apples instead of like showing it being different for this year and, than the others.
Also, you can divvy that purchase up. Like if I were to like freaking say like I'm going to get a freaking $10,000 Mac Pro, I can say like I spent 2,500 of that this year, and like do that whole thing. So
totally, yep. So all that said, like the speculation on this is then like that they're rounding the corner for new hardware, which already kind of has been in the talks for a while. Yeah, but just keeps on going back.
Also,
there's not a whole lot new to say on it.
Yeah, it really doesn't mean anything because it's like, I mean, the answer that they give is just true. Where it's like they're always working on stuff like that. Yeah, and knowing Nintendo, like they're very willing to just sit on stuff. Like just because they're working on a new platform, which is a like obvious thing, doesn't mean that we're getting it a year from now or whatever, right? So
yeah, because they could be stockpiling this stuff and then like. They're like, okay, we really want to release it in 2024, but we want to have enough materials, like enough, Switch news, whatever, out there to like make a reasonable dent in the market and not feel like, like they don't have enough product. So then at that point, just like make a bunch and hold on to them.
Right. And on top of that, it's like, it doesn't even necessarily have to mean that they bought those things and it got like shipped to them or whatever, right? Like it could just be like them making a claim and saying like there's a chip shortage and whatnot, we're pulling our weight here, set this aside for us. That sort of situation.
Nevertheless though, it's very interesting, and like I think I'm just hesitant at all to be like, oh, is a new Switch coming soon? Because I'd just rather push it off until we hear something from them. But this is probably the most like outside of like leak rumor kinds of territory. This is probably the most like grounded thing that shows that like some kind of hardware shift will be happening eventually, whatever. And it could be as soon as we find out about it mid-July, could be as late as forever away. So
true.
We'll just find out when we find out, but
it'll happen when it happens. If it happens. I mean, it'll happen.
Yeah.
We just don't know what, like it could be freaking Switch Pro, could be Switch 2, could be new Nintendo Switch, could be any number of things. Could be Super Nintendo Switch. Could be Nintendo Switch 64.
Yeah. Also, my dog's barking in her sleep in the background, which is really cute. So there's that. All right. That's all the news bits that we have for today. And now, games we're playing.
True.
You playing the games?
Am I playing games? I don't know if I'm playing games. I mean, I'm playing games on stream still. I'm doing the Nuzlocke. Freaking something died that I didn't care about during the Nuzlocke this week. And I can't remember what that is because I didn't care about it. What was the Pokemon that died? The people in chat, do we know what Pokemon? Oh, Batman. Batman died. Freaking Corviknight, the Corvisquire.
I was about to say, do you have a Corviknight? Because I really liked Corviknight.
Corviknight's cool and everything,
really
but
fun.
like Corviknight or Corvisquire, it didn't get to evolve. Corvisquire dying was for the greater good. Not even in the sense that it's usually for the greater good, but it was for the greater good for balancing. Because I had too many freaking flying types, and he just had to go, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
There was something. I'm sure it's okay. It's the kind of thing where you can make it be really broken in the single player, and in multiplayer, like PvP, it would be just worthless. But the whole like building up the whatever the thing that he can do.
You're talking about
Where he,
I know what you're talking about. It's that dark type attack.
Yeah, it's something where
power trip. That's what it's called. It's like
yes, exactly, power trip.
Stat. I mean, like your attack or whatever. Like the more you increase that, it'll increase even more.
Yep.
For the more like attack boost you have or whatever. Yeah, that's true. But in Nuzlocke doesn't really work out like that. Especially in a Nuzlocke where I can't heal. I mean, I can. See, that's the other thing. I put this freaking restriction on myself where it's like, initially I couldn't, like in the prior runs, I couldn't heal at all. But in this run, I was like, all right, but I'll heal. Fine. Well, actually, see, here's the thing. Here's the thing that's even more like frustrating if you just want me to win. That wasn't even a rule. Like it was never a rule that I wrote down that I couldn't heal in battles. It was just an additional stipulation that I put on myself for myself, that I couldn't heal, and I still almost did it. For what it's worth, I almost beat Leon even with that stipulation. But I didn't. So this time I did the thing where it's like, if I catch a Pokemon, I get a heal in battle, and if I get a gym badge, I get 3 heals. I have like 20 something heals. I use like 2, period. I feel like I'll probably end up using like maybe half of what I currently have.
Yeah.
And like, it's not like, the thing is like, it wouldn't be hard to do this just across the board if I didn't care about specific Pokemon, because a lot of times I'll lose because I'm going out of my way to try to make sure nothing dies. Where like if I just was like, okay, this can die and then I'll switch into this and blah blah blah, it would be fine. But I'm like, well, I don't want nothing to die, so I'm gonna like divvy up the damage, and then for that reason it snowballs sometimes. But here, the Pokemon that died was Slurpuff the first time. But then I just freaking found another Slurpuff in the wild area for my capture in there. And I caught that, and I was right about needing Slurpuff, because B, who is usually the one that like, if not like ends the run, comes close to ending the run. But Slurpuff just freaking wrecked her. It was like not even close, dude. Like she couldn't do anything, because it's like, in prior runs, I wasn't even thinking about fairy types. I was just like, all right, man, I gotta get like Woobat, Zubat, because it's a flying type and it's a psychic type, so it's like strong against fighting types, but also it has double resistance to fighting types. But like with fairy, it's like even better because she has freaking brutal swing, which Zubat does not have a resistance to. And that's what, like, that's what it's for. Like, brutal swing is supposed to be like, you thought you had us with the psychic type Pokemon. Well, guess what? And then you die. But freaking fairy type says F you to brutal swing, dude. That said, which this is another thing about, like, this is another reason why it's a W to have freaking a fairy type Pokemon against B is Revenge. That is the worst move. Revenge, counter, Mirror Coat, all that crap. Those are the worst type of move. And Metronome, that move also sucks for Nuzlocke. Because it's like, you have to go against your like instinct of like, I want this thing to die as soon as possible so it can't kill me. Because if you don't kill it, you will die. But because fairy is cracked against fighting type Pokemon, it didn't even matter. I was like, I'm just gonna freaking do a huge swing. I'm gonna hit you with Dazzling Gleam or whatever, and you can't do nothing because your Revenge is going to do nothing to me. So yeah, that was fine, and everything's going good. And Batman's dead, but it doesn't matter. Nobody really cared.
I would have cared.
Thrill House might have cared. I think I don't remember who named Batman. Whoever named Batman definitely cared, but I didn't care. because it was for the greater good. Plus, Batman's cringe. So
Looks like Bob Kane and Bill Finger named Batman. So.
Oh my God. Endangered carrying the team. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. Cringe, Parker.
Yes, I am cringe.
Bev Girl lives. That's a fact. Bev Girl's not going to die. I swear it.
I wonder if it feels weird that not weird because like we follow, generally I follow MCU stuff at least more than DC stuff. But whereas I know the names like obviously Stan Lee, but like Jack Kirby and well, maybe that's it. Maybe just Jack Lee and Jack Kirby. I don't know a single name besides now Bob Kane, I guess, and Bill Finger of any DC
like figureheads,
writers,
same.
creators. Yeah,
me either.
Exactly. Like that's just I don't know.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
but cool, nice playing that. I'm playing a little bit, just like Fall Guys will pop that in every once in a while, and then we played that obviously.
True, we did that in
game night, which was a lot of fun.
It's cool. It was a good time to go out and figure it out because something I don't know. I still don't know what it is. I think it's something to do with the account.
Yes.
It didn't get relinked right or something.
I guess.
But
something.
Whatever.
Maybe at some point, like, I don't know, there's like a permissions thing where like I have no clue. In any case, we also, aside from your account doing weird things, between 4 and 10 people is like a rough number to have for Fall Guys because like 4 people squad up, play together. It's all good. 10 or more, you can do the shows, but in between that is like hard to do something you can't really do something all together. Right. So that was a bit interesting. But true. I mean, it worked out because we had about 10 to 12 people once we kind of got going as well. And I had lots of fun with all of you guys. So
it's fun. It's a good, it's a good and bad game. Like if we had a lot more people, it would be a great game because then it would be easy to like fill up and we wouldn't have to wait for that. But it's also like it's a good game now because it's like everything else is restricted. We have too many people for the other games.
Right.
So it's
exactly.
like it's like an in between there.
So otherwise, let's see. Quick check in on Ocarina of Time. I now have all the pieces of the puzzles to be Old Man Link. So got to get around to doing that, But yeah, so that's 3 temples taken care of and dungeons, whatever. And then we'll keep on going. So that's fun. But yeah, I mentioned I played the demo for Alive Alive. Well, I didn't finish the demo yet because I played, again, there's three of the paths you can do 1 chapter each. Finished one chapter or finished the first chapter of one, started it for a different one and then haven't the other one yet. So the one I started, I mean, I don't know that there would even be any spoilers to give, but I'm not going to give spoilers. But I started the like ancient China one. And the only thing I'll say with that's kind of neat is like the sort of setup for it is you're a shifu, which is like a sensei, I guess, kind of thing. But you're like, I need to find students because I'm getting old and I can't learn anymore. And long story short, gameplay wise, I like how it turns out because anytime you fight as him, you don't gain experience. And that's just like kind of fun because it's like whereas he starts out at a higher level than the other people. But you like recruit these people and they gain experience, but you don't gain experience because you're an old shifu who doesn't know how to do stuff anymore. Yeah. So like that was just a fun little thing. But yeah, otherwise, it's just fun old JRPG classics and whatnot. And I'm having a pretty good time. So the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I think just in the state of mind that I am, it feels condensed and easier to make progress in a single game session and like not have to think about it too much. I don't know when I'm going to play Xenoblade Chronicles 3 because those games are coming out within a week of each other. I don't know when I'm going to play Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I'll probably play this one sooner than later. Probably not right when it comes out, just because Ashley's birthday's around then, so I'll probably just not. But yeah, it's just seems fun. So had a good time with the demo so far. Alec, I know you were waiting to start it. I hope that wasn't too many spoilers, even just that. I was trying to be cognizant. So yeah, there you go.
Apart from that, I moved, like we were talking about. We've talked about this a few times. There's no Ethernet in this room. And I need Ethernet for various things. So the initial solution was we were going to look into getting an Ethernet port installed in here. We gotta freaking call electricians and stuff. It's like, that's too much. But there's power line adapters, which it uses your electrical wiring that's already in your house, and for Wi-Fi. I mean, not Wi-Fi. Well, Wi-Fi, but like for wired internet. Like, so it plugs into, you plug one into a wall outlet near your router, and then you plug the an Ethernet from your router to the power line adapter. Then you plug another power line adapter in the room that you want to plug in the Ethernet, and then you plug that in through there. So that's what I did. And I have a Google Home router for Wi-Fi, and which just makes the signal strength appear stronger. And then I just also, it has 2 Ethernet ports on it. I have that directly plugged into my Switch for Smash, mostly. Which it seems like connections with people have been generally more consistent. But like, the thing is, I usually, even with that, like, because this internet's just super fast, my internet was already fine for stuff like Smash in terms of like playing the game. It just was like, if I couldn't, like, I would lose connection entirely a lot, and that would be annoying. So like, when I'm connected, it's super fine and it's solid, but it's like sometimes it just wouldn't work at all. Since doing the power line thing, seems fine, but I don't know. I got it yesterday, so we'll see. We'll see if the consistency remains.
Yeah, I'm just back to thinking of a power line from the Goofy movie now.
Oh my god!
Again, thanks, Trev.
But yeah, that's.
But yeah, nice.
That's what's new there. Good situation. W. But yeah, I think that's it for what we're playing. Are you playing anything else?
Cool. No, I don't think so.
All right.
But we love to play this little game called Question that people ask us at the end of the podcast.
Yep.
That's what we are going to do now.
It's true. I already switched the thing.
Nice. All right. Mark asked, this partner showcase felt packed despite the name, which got me thinking, what's the ideal length in a presentation? Length and number of games shown.
I don't think that there's a specific length in terms of like the amount of minutes. I think that it's just like, use your time wisely. Like a 15-minute Nintendo Direct could be better than a 25-minute Nintendo Direct if the amount of stuff that you have is worth that, you know? Just like the other way around could be true. It just depends on how like stacked it is, you know? Like, you can announce a 50-minute long direct and everybody will pop off for that, but it could still be bad. It could still, or make people angry, like the one Nintendo Direct that they did with Smash. Like, that was like, that was like a 45-minute direct or whatever, and 30 of it was Smash, you know? So it's like, length doesn't matter. It's just what you use that length for.
Yep.
There's a joke there.
I mean, that
I'm not
one, for example.
I
mean, you kind of just did. So.
I mean, I did, but I didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Good nuance. Yeah, I think the Smash one, for example, like in my mind, there were 5 announcements.
Alex said we all made it for you.
There's, like, I'm sure there were announcements than that, but like, I know Mario Party was in that. I know Daemon X Machina was in that. Pretty sure some other things were, and then Smash, but like, it basically just all was Smash. So I think it's hard to make it feel momentous shorter than 20 minutes or so. Like, I feel like that's kind of less than that feels sort of like, oh, okay, well, we kind of just got started or something. But more than 20 minutes, I think you're in the clear for just the like length qualification. And yeah, at a certain point, like, honestly, past 40 minutes, I'd be more worried that they're either going to slow to a crawl for a little while and or announce too many things that I'm like, honestly, just
Yeah,
hold
most
some
of
of
it's
those.
going to
Like,
get delayed.
you know, if they
and-
keep up
yeah.
the pace. Yeah, exactly. So like I think for me, like 35 minutes to like, 40 minutes, I'm also fine with things being a little bit long or whatever. I feel like that's a good length of like, as long as the pacing is right, then like that's kind of the sweet spot. But yeah, you can get it right on both ends of that for sure. And you can get it wrong on both ends either. So,
It's true.
and number of games shown, I think, yeah, probably I would say it's
Yeah,
more
I think
about
number
the
of games shown is more important.
expediency. Yes, right. It's more about like getting this stuff out there than, you know, just, yeah, not slowing to it, basically.
I feel like if you're going to have a direct, you should at least have like 15 games. Other than that, like
Yes.
if you have less than 15 games, don't have a direct. Just freaking release trailers.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Yeah.
and that's the thing about it, right? Where it's like, oh, like, obviously for Nintendo, like there are contractual obligations for them to have directs at this point.
Yep.
But outside of those, they have no reason to do a direct removed from that. You know what I mean? So it's like, it is the sort of thing that it's like, if you don't have announcements, don't have a direct. And I think that that's the where like Sony's at right now, where they don't understand that. They don't understand that they don't have to do a state of play. They don't have to do it. So don't, especially since like it's new. So I doubt they have the same contractual obligations. And it's new, and it's not even necessarily a popular thing. Like people aren't like chomping at the bit for the next state of play. People aren't like, oh, when are they going to announce the next state of play? You know. So I don't know. It's like,
And honestly, thinking about, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, it feels like a lot of people would be like, well, you can't, that's an unfair expectation to expect X amount of games in a direct, but it's not, because like, if you don't have that, then don't do it.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like this was, there was backlash or whatever, but this was the better decision than if we, like, alternate history, they did E3 time direct, and things that would have gotten included in that for sure would have been like a long Xenoblade segment,
Yep.
but then talked about like, and next week we're going to have a Xenoblade direct,
Yep.
but there would have been a long Xenoblade segment, and there would have been a decently long, probably Three Hopes thing that talks about, like the demo's out and all that kind of stuff. Which again, whatever. And probably Mario Strikers would have shown back up talking about like or maybe not, maybe just like it's in the scissor reel or something. So like those for sure. And then there would have been other announcements that I still think we're just going to either get them over the next couple of months, where like I would not be surprised at all if just next week the Mario Kart DLC Wave 2 they just dropped it on Twitter. And they were just waiting to like go ahead and get the direct out of the way. Then they do that. I mean, it could also be way later. I don't know, but like my brain's like, probably next week. So, and then there's other announcements that then they can just save for later times or use them whenever they want to. But all that to say, I think a surprisingly good partner direct, at least in most people's opinion, surprisingly good, as compared to maybe an E3 general direct that would have had first parties, but could have just disappointed if some of those didn't turn out the way people were wanting or something. And then they can save the big announcements of those for a better presentation next time. Like I'm fine with that. And so I feel like that felt like a reasonable decision, especially because like, yeah, they had all these things to show and it was just well paced and done well. So good job.
I agree. Thumbs
But
up.
that does bring us into, Alec asked, do you think there are any big games coming this year that we don't know about? July
Yes.
has Xenoblade 3 and Live Alive. August, ? September, Splatoon. October, October. Spelled it wrong, Alec. Good job. It says,
And
Sparks of Hope.
Member.
Yeah, and Dick Member.
Not even member.
Oh, you're right. Dick Member. October, Sparks of Hope and No Man's Sky. November, Scarlet Violet and Harvestella, baby. And Dick Member is Dragon Quest Treasures. Then he says, yes, it is light on first party, but the combo of Xeno, Splatoon, and Pokemon is going to make for some serious software sales in the back half of the year. To
Yeah,
your first question, though, like AJ say, yes.
for sure. Definitely. I'd be shocked if there wasn't one or two big games that we don't currently know about coming out to fill in like August and like some of the other stuff that we don't like. they might have like another November game, because I feel like they like stacking November. Maybe that's where Prime goes, you know, if they do end up doing the remake. But also I could equally see the Prime being like a October or December thing, but October's already stacked. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, we also don't know about if Bayonetta is still coming out this year or not.
True, yeah. Which, I mean, it's supposed to. Yeah, it's supposed to come, and they didn't say it's not. You know, they didn't say it was delayed, so. Maybe that's the August game. I feel like it's too soon for it to be the August game, though.
Yeah, I would imagine so too.
Yeah.
But yeah, first party wise, I don't know that I anticipate anything for August still at this point. I mean, they definitely could. Honestly, something kind of Mario, like a smaller Mario project, or even like Wind Waker Twilight Princess, they could throw out and just do it then. You know, like I don't expect
like DLC
that
or something
for either of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So they also sometimes just skip a month, so it's not a big deal. But I think there's a good couple of things that we'll still find out about. The tinfoil hat time, and don't put any chips on this, anybody. But like with the hardware thing from before, I also could potentially see historically. I think we would find out about it within the next 3 weeks. So if it's within the next 3 weeks, then like it's nothing. But if there's a revision, like a Switch Pro or some kind of hardware thing, they could announce games alongside that, especially if it's like a big deal thing, and have that be a bit of an event. And I think if that happens, it would be around like mid-July, just based on precedent. You know, which precedent is not everything by any means, but something like that. And so we can see some of those. Otherwise, I think it's totally reasonable, just like Twitter drops for the things that need to come out. They tell us about them, and then we'll wait for September to probably most likely have a direct around then. But, you know, whatever. If I don't want to hear about games if they're not games that are coming out. So, like,
true.
Just
facts.
At this point, I'm happy with the games that are coming out. So, like, if they tell us other ones, then, like, cool. Awesome.
I agree. There's because there's this drama, which I made a tweet, not specifically talking about that, but there's like the drama with the God of War stuff. Where there was like supposed to be or a rumored announcement for God of War that didn't end up happening, and people were like harassing developers and stuff like that. And it's like, dude, who cares if you get information for the video game? You can't play information.
Yeah,
you can't.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't care. Like if games are coming out, cool. We don't need an announcement for that to not be cool, or you know, like who cares?
Yep.
If there's no announcements to be made, no announcement should be made.
Yep.
Period.
Agreed. Yeah, makes sense. So there you go. All right. Sardi asked, with the Nintendo site breaking down twice for Xenoblade 3, do you think the fandom is more mainstream than niche now?
No. Because like it doesn't really work that way, right? Like we know that there are millions of, like, literally of Xenoblade fans. If even 25% of 3 million people want to all go to a site and buy a thing, you can crash the site. You know what I mean? And it also, like, you also gotta
probably what you were about to say, like scalpers take up part of that for what it's worth too, you know, like definitely not all of it, but in this day and age, like that's just such a thing to where it could be that that's none of it. I could easily be that, like, straight up it just is more mainstream. Could be that, like, they also just didn't budget a lot of server space for it because they had expectations of like, it'll probably be like 100,000 people, and then it was 100,001 person, you know.
And also budgeting for how much they have. Like, it doesn't even necessarily matter how much they think is going to click on the thing. It's like, well, this is the amount of inventory that we have, so we'll account for this much server allocation or whatever, right? I definitely think that Xenoblade is like objectively more popular than it was, but that doesn't necessarily make it quote unquote mainstream. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm interested to see where this one goes in terms of sales and stuff, because it has the it has the potential, I feel like, to be the most mainstream one outside of the fact that it has a 3 in the name. So like that's a bit tricky, you know.
That doesn't really stop a lot of video games from success, though, right?
Not.
Like the 4th freaking Fallout game popped off. You know what I mean? Like that's when a lot of people began to see Fallout as a mainstream thing. So and Witcher, you know, like Witcher popped off at Witcher 3. So video games usually sell better the further in you get. I don't think people care as much about like, what if I'm confused? You know, it's like there's definitely people that do care about that, but I feel like it's more rare than people with like movies, you know.
I mean, I guess, I mean, I played Xenoblade Chronicles 2 before I played Xenoblade Chronicles 1, and like it didn't matter at all outside of not understanding one of the last cutscenes in the game. It's like What are you trying to tell me? Outside of that, like it was just like, I just played a game and there it is.
That's a fact.
Crazy. Alex said Final Fantasy VII, where in the West it also went 3-7. Just like straight up joke. You're right. That's true.
That's true.
Last but not least, Mega Man asked, Battleman Network Collection Game of the Year 2023?
Absolutely not. No. A port or a remaster or like nothing like that will ever be Game of the Year, ever, because like Battle Network wasn't even Game of the Year the year that it came out. So there's.
But also, he's right. So what about that?
No, he's not.
That option.
He's not even close to right. And I want to play that game, but it will not be Game of the Year.
Well, we've already played Game of the Year 2022, according to Mega Man. Pokemon Snap.
Which is crazy, because it's not even a good game.
What a time. With that, everybody, good job. We did
Thanks,
it. We had a podcast.
We did it. Freaking like, comment, subscribe, rate the podcast, all that other good old beard stuff. I almost forgot that the end screen exists, but I'm on it. Here it is. Here's the end screen. Click the things on the end screen, dude. Click the videos. Freaking, if you didn't click the subscribe thing, that looks great, right? Okay. Goodbye.